The anime opens by introducing our main character, Toji Enoshiro, a loud, shameless delinquent who earns money by provoking fights, beating people senseless, and pushing everyone's patience to its breaking point. Instead of caring about the backlash, he feels a rush every time he scrolls through hateful comments. In his mind, more hatred means more profit. While riding the train, he overhears people endlessly talking about him as his channel's view count continues to skyrocket. His most recent upload shows him brutally defeating an MMA YouTuber before fleeing the scene. And even though the public genuinely despises him, they can't stop watching. On the surface, he looks like nothing more than a violent thug. But everything changes whenever he's with his sister. At the hospital, Toji gently asks if she's sitting comfortably, only for her to tell him to relax. Her name is Carrie. She immediately scolds him for ignoring her messages, while he casually brushes it off, claiming he had a small issue to handle. Proudly, he tells her he brought her a sweet. However, she sees right through him, pointing out that he probably bought it just so he could eat it himself. Toji quickly denies it, saying they can share. She then reminds him he's limited to 1 sweet a day and asks how many he's already eaten. When he answers 3, she doesn't believe him, forcing him to confess it was actually 6. This leads to a strict lecture about proper eating habits and maintaining a balanced diet. The narration humorously goes off on a tangent, joking about how junk food like soda, fried snacks, pizza, and burgers can literally kill someone. The narrator even jokes that if they ever vanish, it was probably due to a junk food-induced heart attack. Returning to the story, Carrie tells Toji that he'd be completely helpless without her keeping an eye on him. He apologizes, only for her to say that because of that, she'll eat the small cake all by herself. Suddenly, she begins coughing violently and struggles to breathe. Toji panics and rushes to call the nurse, but she stops him, insisting she's okay. Even so, she admits she doesn't understand why her body is so cruel to her. Toji encourages her to stay strong, reminding her that only 1 month remains before she travels to the United States, where a miracle doctor will perform surgery. She forces a smile but worries about the cost. Toji firmly reassures her, saying he's already handled everything and has a solid job. His thoughts drift back to the repulsive old man at the orphanage who drilled into him the idea that he should never burden others. If there were a clean way to make a lot of money, he would take it, but Toji lacks intelligence. All he has is his strong body and talent for fighting. So if being a nuisance is how money is made, he fully embraces it. He doesn't care if the entire world hates him, as long as his sister Carrie can recover. 1 month passes. People begin to worry when no new videos appear on Adaringo's channel. Some claim he retired from Uberon, while others speculate he was sent to Maiden Academy, a place rumored to rehabilitate phone addicts, with dark whispers that no one ever leaves alive. Then one evening, as Toji sits at home eating a small flaw, he receives a message from Akari. He replies casually, saying he's doing fine and enjoying a treat. Instantly, Akari scolds him again, reminding him he promised not to eat sweets. She then reveals she's doing incredibly well, almost as if she'd never been sick at all. She says she misses him deeply and will be returning very soon. Toji's heart fills with joy seeing how much better his sister is doing. Hours later, he drifts off to sleep. Suddenly, he half opens his eyes to see a man towering over him, holding a massive hammer about to crush his skull. Toji barely avoids the blow. The man angrily shouts at him for dodging and calls him an idiot. Toji demands to know who he is. Strangely, the attacker apologizes for his harsh language, leaving Toji confused as to why he'd apologize for words instead of nearly killing him. Without waiting, Toji continues dodging attacks but accidentally drops his phone. The mysterious man immediately points at it. Toji snatches it back and runs. Reaching the park, he messages his sister, who anxiously asks what just happened. Toji explains everything, unable to understand why the attacker was obsessed with his phone. Just as he's about to call the police, the man appears behind him again. Toji blocks the attack and counters, warning him that he's fighting back now in self-defense. The stranger easily deflects Toji's blows and swings the hammer directly at the phone. Toji barely stops him. Then the man calls him by name, revealing he knows exactly who he is, Engo, the infamous provocation YouTuber. He knows his videos well, not because he enjoys them, but because he finds them revolting. He says the content is absolute trash and makes him sick just looking at it. Immediately after, he apologizes once more for being rude. At that point, it's Toji who drops to his knees and begs for forgiveness. He assumes he finally understands, he must have beaten someone close to this man. He admits his only motivation was money and says he fully understands why people hate him. He was prepared for this day. He begs the man not to kill him, saying he can hit him as much as he wants. He just doesn't want to die. More than anything, he pleads with him not to destroy the phone, because his sister is far away and this is the only way he can talk to her. Yet the man still goes for the phone. Toji screams, asking if he's even listening. He can beat him all he wants, but he must not touch the phone. Coldly, the man replies that he has no interest in hurting him at all. His only goal is to destroy the phone. Toji refuses, insisting he needs it to talk to his sister. Shocked, the man asks if he truly doesn't realize what he's saying. His sister has been dead for an entire month. Toji freezes. Desperately, he insists that his sister isn't dead. If she were, then who has he been talking to this whole time? It's Akari, his sister, and no one else. Then a flashback plays, showing her condition suddenly worsening as she dies right in front of him. Toji couldn't accept it. He didn't even attend her funeral. And when he received her ashes, he refused to believe she was truly inside that urn. Completely shattered, he spent his days stuffing himself with sweets while endlessly sending messages to his sister's phone, desperately hoping for a response. Then one day, he realized his messages had been read, and even replied to. When she began recalling moments from their childhood and scolding him for eating too many sweets, he held tightly to the belief that his sister was still alive. There was no way anyone else could be using her account. No one could ever take the place of his only family. Back in the present, Akari's voice suddenly echoes from the phone. The screen glitches, distorting as her face appears and she tells her brother that she can finally see him. Overwhelmed with happiness, Sogji doesn't understand how, but his sister is alive, inside his phone. However, in that brief moment of distraction, the man seizes the chance, knocking the phone into the air and smashing it as it hits the ground. Sogi panics, but when the smoke fades, the man is stunned to see that his attack had no effect. From the phone, Akari's form emerges, thanking her brother for protecting her. She tells him that without him, she never could have grown this much. Sogji can only stare, completely mesmerized to see his sister once again. Suddenly, everything begins to fall apart. Akari's body twists unnaturally, and blood starts streaming from her eyes. Terrified, Sogi demands to know what is happening to her. The man stops him, explaining that what he's looking at is no longer his sister. He reveals that the one Sogi has been speaking with all along was that ghost. He goes on to explain that such entities usually appear in places of importance: bathrooms, hospitals, mirrors, music rooms, even beaches. But in modern times, they're increasingly manifesting through phones. When a dead person's social media account becomes inactive, it turns into a dead account, and that dead account becomes a ghost. Sogi argues that it's impossible, that there's no scientific explanation for it. The man snaps back, calling out his hypocrisy. After all, Sogi spent half a month talking to his sister's ghost. He explains that his goal was to destroy the phone before that cursed ghost fully manifested, but some idiot interfered. Now that the manifestation is complete, physical attacks won't work anymore, forcing him to rely on other methods. Confused, Sogji asks what kind of methods he's even talking about. At that moment, Sogi questions why he's using a phone right now. The boy replies that this is actually the perfect time, since they're dealing with a digital ghost, and items like prayer beads or crosses are useless against it. To exorcise such a spirit, they must convert spiritual power into a digital form. Sogi honestly feels like he's losing his mind when he sees the guy pull a massive hammer straight out of his phone. But the boy suddenly freezes, shocked when he realizes Sogi can see the hammer too, proof that he has spiritual potential. Without hesitation, he prepares to finish off Akari's ghost, slamming the hammer down repeatedly while telling Sogi that even if he's a complete idiot, he'll still save his sister so she can stop being that horrible thing. A relentless storm of hammer strikes follows. But Sogi notices that his sister, or whatever is wearing her face, is clearly in pain. Sensing his hesitation, the ghost takes advantage and calls out to him. Inside his head, Sogi hears his little sister's voice. Just as the boy is about to deliver the final blow and erase the ghost for good, Sogi stops him, begging him to stop. He cries that he's hurting her and that he doesn't care if she's a ghost, she's still his sister. Furious, the boy grabs Sogi by the collar and screams at him to wake up. He tells him that his sister is already dead and the dead cannot return. He explains that Sogi isn't the only one who suffers like this. Everyone who's still alive carries the pain of losing someone they love, but they still have to keep going. Sadly, while he's shouting, the ghost manages to break free from the phone and tries to escape. The boy rushes to attack again, but freezes in shock when he sees Sogi walking straight toward the ghost, gently asking Akari to calm down. As she begins to rise, the boy jumps in to shield him, only to take Akari's attack himself. Cursing Sogi, he collapses, unable to move, even dropping his phone. Seeing what his sister has done, Sogi is frightened, but still tries to soothe her, telling her he's there for her. Suddenly, the ghost sinks her teeth into him and whispers that now they can stay together forever, because without her, he's nothing. In that agonizing moment, Sogi remembers what the boy said about ghosts appearing in places important to the dead. He realizes Akari can't move on because he's the one binding her to this world. She believes she couldn't die and leave him behind, feeling responsible for him, unable to move forward because he himself won't let her go. He also recalls how the boy said that suffering is shared, but the living must still continue. Suddenly, his phone lights up, and Akari releases him. As he falls, Sogi turns to his phone and digitalizes a blue flame, stunning the boy, who realizes Sogi awakened his power at the very last moment. More importantly, those blue flames are special. Sogi finally tells his sister that she's already dead and can't stay anymore. He admits it's hopeless, but promises her that from now on, he'll eat only one sweet a day. Enraged, Akari's ghost charges toward him, screaming that he belongs with her. Calmly, Sogi replies that it's time for her to rest, and that he'll be okay on his own. Just before being consumed, he strikes back, wrapping her in blue flames and successfully exorcising his sister's ghost. Before vanishing, she speaks in her real voice to say goodbye, while Sogi can only cry in regret. Sometime later, the black-haired boy's team, whose name is Kabata, panics, thinking he's dead, only for him to respond that he's still alive. The others scold him, saying the ghost came from a new account and should have been easy to defeat, making it tragic that a kid had to exorcise his own sister. This angers Kabata. He then reveals that the boy has a fire-based spiritual ability, causing the team to sigh, since offensive types aren't uncommon, until Kabata adds that the flames are blue. Everyone is shocked, unsure what to even do with him. Finally, the team's master declares they'll take him to Midden Academy, where once he arrives, it'll be up to him to learn, or die. And with that, tots. So if you want to continue this series, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel right now.